pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cranbury Press, the Trenton Times, and Home News Tribune on December 3rd, 2012. Posted on the bulletin board, posted on the township's website, and sent to those who requested a copy of this notice. Roll call, Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook is absent this evening. Ms. Getz? Here. Mr. Mulligan?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
We have the regular Township Committee minutes of October 28th. Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Cook is absent. Ms. Getz?
Here.
Mr. Mulligan?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
We have 4 yeas and 0 nays.
I had to pause and think there for a
And
moment.
one
Yeah, I'm
member,
sorry.
and one member absent. Thank you.
We also have the closed session minutes of October 28th. Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Cook is absent. Ms. Getz?
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
We have 4 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 member absent. Thank you.
I didn't bring my calendar with me the last time, so I didn't have a report, so I'm going to do it this time. But I want to start off by congratulating Jay and Kristen Taylor on the birth of twin boys last Thursday.
Thank
I
you.
understand everybody is doing well.
They are, thank you.
Mr. Jay is here.
Let's see, since our meeting of the 14th, I met with a developer, attended the design review committee meeting, a meeting of the recreation board, and a member of the planning, meeting of the planning board, the zoning board hearing, the pumpkin carving over at the school. And that brings me up to date, I think.
I too would like to congratulate you, Jay. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Also like to congratulate Glenn on the re-election. Congratulations. Great job. I'd like to point out, back in October, a resident passed away, Walter Gay. He was a friend and a resident of Cranbury who made an impact in a short period of time that I was here that was very positive, and I was able to be at a call it a celebration of his life this past weekend, which was very nice to see with other residents and attendees. So Walter will be missed. Just wanted to say that for the record. Just want to follow up on a couple other things. Out on Plainsboro Road, we have the drainage issue with Toby out there. Do we have any timelines yet on anything we want to do from Bill? Just still waiting for the timeline? Okay. Just want to keep that alive and make sure we get something out of Bill.
He's doing survey work out there, I know, but we don't have a start date for it.
Understood.
Other projects are taking precedent.
Totally get it. Just want to keep it out there on the radar. The other thing is we've had some residents come to me on Plainsboro Road complaining about the trucks, you know, the ordinance out there. It's great to see the police have the billboard out there now specifying that the large, heavy, over 4-ton trucks shouldn't be out there. But residents were just voicing their concerns. A couple pulled me aside and just wanted to pass it on to the committee. It's still alive and active out there. And the last thing is I know Glenn and I both were working on, and we went to Denise, and they followed through, her and Jerry, on at the end of Old Hightstown Road, which is at the intersection of South Main Street and Old Trenton Road, the cul-de-sac there. Just put up some barrier there to block off cars from driving through. It became a road again over time. And the residents that lived there were complaining that it was pretty heavy traffic. And guilty as charged, I used to come through there a lot too. So there's a barricade there now to stop that. And it's actually a good thing I've noticed because I've seen a lot of cars turning around that were cutting through there. I didn't realize how heavy the traffic was. So good job bringing up Glenn, and glad we could follow through and get that done. So just want to point out to the committee. That's all I have.
I just want to, while we're doing the spirit of congratulations, congratulate the mayor and Mr. Mulligan again on their re-election. It's nice to see a consistent township committee going forward. A couple of things. 11/16, I've seen the notices. The pumpkin roll is happening, so get Easter pumpkins out. I think it'll be a fun event to do. I've been contacted a couple of times by Frank Brennan regarding town pipe that runs behind the houses from Bunker Hill. I've heard rumors over the years that different foundations have come in and blocked the pipe. I was just wondering if perhaps we could budget at budget time, just a small fee to have Bill do a camera survey of that pipe to see where that pipe is going. And if it's not going anywhere, perhaps we can just close it out so that water doesn't come in and flood the backyard to some of those homes back there. Because what happens is it's hitting a block, whether it's a foundation or whether it's just debris over time, and then it's bubbling up into the back of Frank Brennan's house where there's an outlet back there. So I thought before we take on any kind of massive project with this, since it is a township pipe, we could just do a survey of it to see what the extent of that is and what the condition of that pipe is.
Years ago, I believe they did just that. You
Oh, did
might
they?
want to check with Mr. Tanner, because when the records were turned over by the previous township engineer, he probably would have the camera pictures. I remember it was a problem years ago, and I believe the township committee at the time asked the then township engineer to go with a camera.
We would also have what that cost.
So,
We would have that information. Would we also have that information, what it costs when they did that? I mean, if it needs to be done again. I don't know.
That I don't know, but I'm surmising that Mr. Tanner has those records, because all the records were supposed to be turned over to him. And I believe how it came about, just so the rest of you understand, is that a resident actually came to a township committee meeting to complain that this was causing a problem, this pipe that ran the whole length. And that's how it came about. The then sitting township committee asked the township engineer to do that, so.
So what I'm thinking needs to happen is we need to ask, this is my opinion, we need to ask the engineer
Yes.
to find out if there's existing records, or then we need to understand if we need to look into something to understand what is really going on, who owns the pipe, understand what may have happened with the pipe, and then from there we can make determinations. As far as capping, I don't want to enter into
No, but
so,
I think just the idea of
I think
understanding what that pipe is.
understanding who owns it, who's responsible for it, and what may have happened to your point of a foundation. The rumors are it was the post office is the rumor that that's what's blocking it. And for all you know, that property owner might be called culpable for any repairs that need to be made. It might not be the township. So I would say we should investigate and understand. And
Yeah, but I talked to one plumber in town who's been here for generations.
look at that thing.
He told me that it's when they built when the Methodist Church added on when they excavated, they blocked the pipe as well. So it could be blocked in that.
The pipe is supposed to go all the way to the creek.
Creek, yeah. And it actually, and then I know on the west property at some points it's caved in as well, and been filled in. That one we know for sure.
So I think ideally, right, Bill would do an investigation and then come back to us at some point with a report.
Yeah, and then we can figure out how to fix the flooding issue. We do have a liability there or not.
Understood.
The only other thing I have is the construction report. This pile of paper somewhere. We have about $6,000 worth of permits. What I thought was interesting is that we have a Sandy permit was issued last month, as well as the pump station permits have been issued, so we're underway on the pump station repairs, as well as the dam repair, as well as the downtown beautification.
Yeah, it's a busy time.
So a lot of stuff going on.
So the segue into downtown beautification, we're a little bit behind where we wanted to start. We're still working out some of the details of it. We did meet this week with the fire department. I'm pretty sure we worked out the details. Okay, good. We had Bill Terry came in, we met with Mike and Ricky Varga. We met down there and put up cones and moved fire trucks. And so we're able to pull back the bump outs a bit so that I'm pretty comfortable that you'll be able to make the turns that you need to make.
And he said we'd be able to drive over them, so.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There may be a time when they've actually got to go over them. So instead of them, the one that was most problematic was the one in front of the old bookworm. So that was supposed to be a grassy bump out. It's going to have more of a solid base. So if the fire truck does have to go over it, there's no problem with sinking. So Other than that, we should be able to get started relatively soon. No, that's, and then we have a slow clock.
Yes.
I thought we said at the last committee
It
meeting.
was said today, I believe.
The last,
It looks like it was wound today, but not
Yes,
set.
wound, I'm sorry, wound.
okay.
We don't set it, I believe the clock. Special.
The only thing I wanted to add about
I'm sorry.
beautification is I've been getting a lot of questions about the bump outs. And people are wondering why we're doing the bump outs, and were they just for aesthetics? And they were, people want to say they were not just for aesthetics, and you were there for the
Yep.
meetings. It's something, because it's a DOT sidewalk grant, that's what it is. We have to make the intersections ADA compliant, and that's why we have to have the bump outs to get the slopes and the width that we need to be ADA compliant. What Bill is doing is pulling them in as close as he can and still make the slope. So when you see the markings in the street, I think that's why got people kind of interested in the whole process. The inside line that you see is the line where the bump outs are going to be. So he has pulled back. The big one at the end of Schoolhouse Lane is still going to be relatively big, and that's, again, that's designed to protect that tree. That's why it needs to be the size that it is. So, but we should be getting started on that another week or so.
I know, we have to decide on the waivers and the
Yeah.
bluestone.
Wasn't that gonna be done this summer?
Yeah, but the option didn't show up on Sunday, so they just appeared. The contractor ran it on Monday, so we still have to take a look at it. So we don't have the final
Those
decision.
are meeting this,
Not yet. It'll be this week.
this week.
That's it.
Do we have any agenda additions or changes?
I have none there.
We'll open to public comment for any item that's on tonight's agenda. Tom?
Tom Coffey, you may wind up discussing it anyways, but I was just curious what, letter G, special services apparatus is.
That's to award the contract for the fire truck, which we approved in the 2013 capital plan.
Nothing? Thanks.
And just some clarity on that, a number of years ago, the water tanker needed replacements. The fire company out of their funds agreed to fund the purchase of the water tanker in return for the township at a later date purchasing the special services truck as well as the brush truck. So it ended up being about a wash dollar-wise, but had the town spent the money on the water tanker as well as those two other trucks, we would have been talking over $1 million worth of outlay.
Okay, we have resolution 11-13-133. Madam Clerk, do you want to take us through that? or?
Yes, certainly, Mayor. This resolution is a requirement of the federal government because Cranbury Township has been awarded a federal grant for Safe Streets to Schools. And this project should start approximately next spring, 2015. There is an abundance of paperwork that has to be done. And Mr. Tanner, the township engineer, and myself have attended a couple classes to get ready to facilitate this grant. And it's very comprehensive. So one of the requirements is that you as a governing body have to approve the policy and procedures manual, which I prepared and I used, we actually had a meeting with NJDOT here at Town Hall. The township administrator was part of the meeting, Mr. Tanner and myself, and they happened to mention that Middlesex County had already prepared their policy and procedures manual to get ready for federal dollars that they are receiving. So I called my contact with the county and asked if they could please email me the manual that they had prepared, and then I doctored it up to fit our needs. So I had to type it from scratch, but And of course, Mr. Tanner and I reviewed it and reviewed it and reviewed it, and then it went off to NJDOT, and they reviewed it, and they sent the changes back, and we made the changes, and now we just need the governing body to approve it. I didn't think you wanted to read it. It's kind of boring, and it's 16 pages.
And this is for the sidewalks on Old Trent Road to complete the extension of the
Is that what they're gonna do? Yeah, I didn't know specifically what exactly sidewalks. And like I said, it won't start probably till spring of 2015. Or 15?
No,
I'm sorry, 14 I meant to
but
say.
the money's already committed to us.
Yes, the
Well,
money-
This is just what we had to do in order to receive the money.
Well,
Right, in
right,
order to be able to go out to bid for the
Right.
project.
there's a whole process you have to follow. And they can pull your funds at any time if you don't follow each and every process as it's required.
Well, the township's been looking at sidewalk extensions on that road for at least the last 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to make sure we do everything that
That's
takes us to
correct.
conclusion. And if 1 year,
Right.
takes the time, that's what.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, roll call, Mr. Cook is absent, Ms. Getz,
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
We have 4 yeas, 1 member absent, and 0 nays. Thank you.
Does anyone want anything on the consent agenda pulled out separately?
I just had a question on item G, seeing as how our fire chief is here. I was just curious if you had any comments on item G at all before we move to approve?
I just want to maybe just thank the township committee for all the hard work and Aaron and the township for going through the purchasing process, but we're ready, so.
Okay,
Thanks, Mike.
thank you, Mark. So I'll move to approve.
Second?
Roll call, Mr. Cook is absent, Ms. Getz,
Yes.
Mr. Mulligan,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
We have 4 yeas, 1 member absent, and 0 nays. Thank you.
We have a work session on the meeting scheduled for the Township Committee for 2014.
We're on a record-setting pace, so if we just all say yes right now. Be out here by 7:20.
If you notice, I did provide all
Mike's
the
gonna come to a lot of
calendars.
You know, I wanted to start out by asking about the reorganization thing.
That's the first
You know,
thing.
sometimes if we push our reorganization back too far, it interferes with other boards and commissions in having their
Yes.
reorganization date. So I was wondering, would it be convenient for everybody to just do it on the evening of the first? I mean, is that too soon? Or?
On New Year's Day,
Yeah,
I know personally, that's like a big family
I was
dinner.
just going to say a lot of people had family.
Yeah, that'd be tough for
we
our.
could seat 30.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I was going to ask all of you if, I know a lot of people take off that week between Christmas and New Year's. I was going to ask if you wanted to meet during the day during that. Like if you notice, I suggested on this sheet. And the reason why I suggested that was because I've spoken with one of the board secretaries, and if we wait, it pushes her meetings back. That, just as the mayor mentioned. It is a logistics problem.
So you're suggesting January 2nd during the day?
During the day, there, as you well know, there are routine resolutions that you would be asked to adopt. There's no work session. It's your decision. That,
Well, I know some of our township committee members that are being re-sworn in have family members at work, so, if they want to be here for the ceremony,
mm,
and they're working, the
Kids in school,
kids are in school.
probably, I think the second week of that.
they do.
Would you rather keep it in the evening, but, it doesn't take long.
Evening would have better attendance, I think, for everybody in general.
Okay.
We could do it on the 2nd, but
Second's fine with me.
That would be on Thursday. That's a Thursday. And what time would you like it to be? Last year you had it at 6 o'clock on the 3rd. You met on the 3rd last year.
that seems fine.
That's fine with me.
So 6 6 all right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Because then I'll notice it's 6 o'clock on Thursday evening, the 2nd. Thank you. And I think this will be good for the boards as well, because it's early enough. Okay.
We kept the Tuesdays.
Yes, I purposely, paid attention to the holidays so that we weren't meeting on any religious holidays.
Well, this is the first time we did it, instead of spreading it out, we did it on Tuesday, like tonight,
Yes,
on a Tuesday. Has that been a problem for anybody?
No,
I feel like it works better than waiting 3 weeks.
I agree.
oh, yes.
Yeah.
So,
I like the rhythm. Keep 2 a month,
Mhm.
it makes sense.
Right, and then Memorial Day in May, of course, because of that Monday, I needed the Tuesday. Where else? Let's see. And I left the ones in the end of July to the end of August, optional, like we did last year.
Always good. You just never know what's gonna come up. So
No,
I
you never,
agree.
that's true.
Yep.
And then the township regular holidays are in the bottom.
I only see one date here that I will be missing, so.
One,
you can tell already.
Well, December 8th is my wife's birthday,
Oh.
so I'm pretty sure I'll be missing that.
She can
Unless we'd like to have, if it's gonna be a meeting like this, we can have her sit there and I can take her out to dinner.
So the only one, and I'm not sure if this is right or not,
What?
the 25th of August.
yes.
That might be the golf tournament for the rec.
Oh.
Yeah, it's usually that last week.
And usually the dinner that night, so we could do it Tuesday that week.
But it does say optional. But if you had something.
If we had something come up,
If you had
just to be
something come
safe,
up-
it might be, to
You
Mr.
could-
Logan's point, just to do Tuesday.
Oh, you're saying just when I do the yearly calendar, make it Tuesday?
Make it Tuesday,
Okay,
We still want to cancel it.
so that Tuesday would be, let's
the
see.
26th.
26th, okay. Tuesday. And I'll still mark it optional on the yearly schedule when I do. Okay. Thank you, because I didn't even think of that in the equation. No, that's
They
important.
honestly, they move it from back and forth between weeks, it just depends on the year, but.
I know.
think it'll be
I think you're probably right.
Can't be major.
I don't think so. Crossover's on the 14th of April.
I think she's got that mark.
I did, I marked it in parentheses for you.
This looks fine to me.
No, I'm fine with it.
And March worked out well, because the school's now doing a standard, spring break every year. They're not gonna do an Easter week anymore.
Oh, so it's set when it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's week of 17, I'm saying, so it worked out well, there's no conflict with
Oh, good.
spring break. So,
When is their,
we're fine, it's,
No, what's the standard week? I get it. What week did they decide every year is going to be the standard week?
it sounds like it's gonna be that prayer around Thanksgiving, or next,
Easter.
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, St. Patrick's.
So this year's the week of the 17th.
the week in between our meetings?
Exactly, so it works out perfect.
Fall,
So
fall,
just-
well, okay.
Because that'd be the one time we have something that everyone's out of town, we did a separate
Right.
meeting, so it worked out well.
Okay.
Oh, this looks good, Kevin.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll go with this. As long as everyone agrees. Thank you. That was easy.
See, it's 7:25.
Reports from township boards and commissions. Mike, would you like, sure.
I've heard Mike speak. We're going to be out here around 8:30.
Nice.
It shouldn't be
This,
too long.
this way.
Or you can sit, whichever one you want.
You can be comfortable and sit. Just state your name for the record, please.
My name is Michael Cavan, Chief of the Cranbury Township Company. I'd like to give our monthly report for the month of October. For the month of October, we ran 33 incidents, including drills. We had 228 man-hours, and until the end of October, we're up to 276 calls. Our new radios are in. We're operating on a new frequency. One of the reasons you haven't heard the siren lately is not because we haven't been going out on calls. In fact, we had 3 calls today. Is because they actually had to take the radio out of the siren back and get it reprogrammed, and the parts are actually on back order. So as soon as the parts come in, they'll reinstall everything, and the siren will be back online. And other than that, and we got the demonstration with the fire truck, making the turn on Park Place, and showed how tight that turn was going to be, and we came to a pretty good compromise, so I think it's going to work out for everybody, so.
We appreciate you giving us time on that.
No problem.
Mike, I just had one question. For those in the audience as well as for the Township Committee, the regulations for certification for firefighter one, what's the man hours for that?
I believe it's 160 hours of classroom and practical training. I can double check that. We just actually just had somebody complete it over the summer, and I had to enter their time into their account, close that account. But yeah, I'm pretty sure right now it's 160 hours, whether it goes up for the next semester, I'll have to look. But
And then the fire company just did a drill a couple of weeks ago, now, for the live burns, and the state requires us to do, for those that enter buildings, to do live burn drills.
yeah, mandatory minimum through the state is that every firefighter has to attend at least one drill quarterly, and they have to attend at least one live fire training exercise at least annually. So we keep pretty close track of that. So. Okay.
Great, no, thank you. I just thought it'd be good information.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Anybody have any other questions? And we are going to try and make an effort for, if not myself, at least one of our representatives to be here at hopefully the first meeting of every month. So if anybody does have any questions, we can give a report. And we actually met with Glenn last night too. So we'll still be meeting with our township representative, but we felt it would be nice to have a representative from the fire company here. So
Oh, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Anything from the state?
I just wanted to report on the bond sale. Since the last meeting, we had a bond sale.
Great job.
We got a rate of 2.785, which was phenomenal. We thought it was going to be 4%. And over 3 years, we have saved, 30 years, we've saved more than $1 million on interest because the rate is 2.875. So, and that was due to our improved, the improved municipal market and our AAA rating.
So these were notes that we consolidated into a bond?
And then new money. Yes.
And what was on the notes that were out there, what was the range of the interest rates that we were paying?
Around 2 the last couple of years on the notes. Yes.
So we consolidated for 2.75 and locked it in
Yep.
versus the rollover of the
30
notes.
years. Yep.
Great.
That was great. That was great.
Good job.
Yes, excellent job.
Thanks. Really wasn't up to me with the market, but it was perfect timing.
AAA bond rating on that.
Yep. Yes, it did.
Madam Clerk?
I had nothing, Mayor.
We'll open for public comment on any issue at all. Tom?
Tom Conley, Eddie Road. Going back to letter G, considering it's a bid for a fire truck, do you think it would be beneficial to list that in the agenda items as opposed to special services apparatus, which you may need to include anyways? But do you think it would be beneficial to the public to include that so people can either follow along at home or during the meeting?
In retrospect, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I mean, we should
This is its
identify
name,
somebody.
so you have to put its name down.
Its name, yes.
Yeah, but we can do it in
That's-
parentheses.
That's a very good suggestion, thank you. So moving forward in the future, that's what I'll do.
Thank you. Committeewoman Getz, 2 meetings ago, you were speaking about the Cranbury beautification, at which point you said, 100% was going to be paid for through the grant. And then the last meeting, you didn't kind of retract. Well, I'm not so worried about the verbiage, so to speak. But you had mentioned the lampposts would be paid for. It sounds like the town's going to be paying for the lampposts. So I was wondering if there's anything additional to the lampposts that the town's going to be paying for, and plus, what is the cost of the lampposts to the town?
You got those from PSE&G?
The lampposts are coming from PSC.
See, we're not buying the lampposts. What we do is we lease them from PSE&G. And so we could not lease them, correct me if I'm wrong, we could not lease them from PSE&G through the grant. The grant would not allow us to grant is covered, all the rest of the beautification is what's coming out of the grant. So the sidewalks, the bump outs, the curbs, trees coming down, the trees going up, are all coming out of the grant. The lamp post, do you have a final price on that?
Approximately 10,000.
10,000 as the terms of the lease or
Upfront cost.
upfront? Okay. Was there anything in addition to the lampposts?
No, what's going to happen after that, we've been approached by the Women's Club and the Historic Society, and they're very interested in making contributions, either flowers or some of the furniture. We're looking at the possibility of people sponsoring furniture, benches, bike racks, and things along those lines. So the organizations or individuals will sponsor those. It's not something that the town's going to buy. The Women's Club is looking for some way that we can have flowers on the posts. They really like to do that. And the Historic Society is going to be working with Kathy and with Bill Tanner on another grant that they're going to look to add additional items to the beautification process that would come out of an additional grant, not the downtown beautification grant. But we have no intention of buying or paying for anything else. The lamp post is something that the community made very clear they wanted as part of this. We hope to be able to do it with the grant, and we can't. It's the legality of the grant will not let us do that. Is that right?
We are seeking funding, though, from the Golf Trophy Tournament Committee. I don't know if we'll get it, but we have approached them to ask if they would use the funds they have from the trophy tournament that they run every year, which are supposed to be used for parks and recreational things, if they would consider it. And we haven't heard back from them yet. So there is a possibility that we will have to pay for it, but.
Okay, that's all great. I was just trying to clarify that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry that that was unclear when I said that. You know, everything that was in the bid that went out to this contractor was being paid for in the grant, and that's the part that I probably wasn't clear enough about the first time. That's why I wanted to clarify it last week.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Village Haircutters, long-time business. I was on their Facebook page. I noticed they're heading out going to West Windsor. I was wondering if anyone had more information on that. Just been in contact with them while we're leaving, and if there's potentially a new tenant for the, we're kind of sure it's probably a lease. If they lease there, I was wondering if anyone had more information on that.
I was notified over the phone that they were going to be making that move, but I don't know what the reason for it is. I'm not even sure who owns the building.
Teddy's.
The George owns that?
Yeah, George owns it.
Hmm.
Hasn't decided what they're going to do with the space yet, if they're going to release it or do something on their own. It's all being determined still.
So there's a possibility they might expand it.
I wouldn't say that, but they might have another use for it, or they can lease it. Again, they'll know more. I think Village Haircutters moving out in February, so they have some time yet to make decisions there. So.
I was just curious. I think there's a certain level of responsibility to be, as a committee, to just kind of be aware of what's going on. If there's anything the township could do, but more importantly, just kind of have knowledge. I was just curious on that one. And going back to the issue on Petty Road, we had last, it was about a year from today, maybe a little bit more than a year, we had a dozen residents, maybe a little bit less than a dozen residents come out and speak about that. I know it was mentioned, it was included in the capital plan. I know Mr. Cook, who's not here tonight, stated that it would be looked at in the spring. And I was curious, was it in fact looked at in the spring? And just kind of an update on that. Is there any short-term or long-term plan on that?
I don't think there is right now. I think what we need to do, according to the engineer, there are a number of steps that we have to go through. Because it's not clear at this point exactly what's causing some of the problems that exist out there. And what he suggested is that the first step would be a hydrology study, I guess, to see how the water is draining, where it's coming from, where it can be moved to, if it needs to be moved out of the roadway. And at that point, I think he would have a better idea of how much the rebuilding and resurfacing of the road would cost. So whatever we do, that study would be the first step.
There were some preliminary numbers thrown around So I'm of the opinion, if we're going to do anything on Petty Road, that we have to seek outside sources of funding, such as grants, DOT or federal type grants. That's a lot of money into that road at this time. Not to say it's not important, but we need to seek grants. That's the most viable way of funding such a project, most likely. Other than that, the only thing I would add is just from talking to residents out there, I guess there's two concerns. There's the road and the bridge, I guess, overtops the creek there. And I don't know if there's anything that we can do in the short term to look at that. Maybe that's a win sooner than the road. We should just ask Bill his opinions on that. Because it sounds like that can be dangerous. I don't know what we can or can't do there. I don't know if it requires the whole road being redone at that point, but if there's something we could do in the bridge area, we should ask Bill if he has any thoughts on that.
We share that bridge with Plainsboro. I
Yep.
think that's the other issue.
Because it makes the line, right? It is the line.
Right. So just for clarification, we're not sure if he did in fact look at it in the spring.
We discussed it. We haven't authorized the study.
Okay. I guess as a resident, I'm just looking for some progress. I mean, I know there was some discussion, I know it's not one study, there's issues with the road. But I just remember from the conversation where the statement by Mr. Cook was that it was one to be looked at in the spring. So I was just trying to clarify if that in fact was did actually happen. And just trying to get some update on what you really have. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks. And just, to be clear on the village haircut, I was aware. Nor is village haircut was going out, obviously. It's unfortunate to see a business leave. Hopefully we'll have a little come in, so.
Any other public comment? We'll close the public portion. I have no mayor's notes. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?